Most people forget why we work in teams. Here's a reminder and how to do it more effectively. To understand how to build effective teams, we need to remember why we work in teams. On one side, this is just about efficiency, but the real reason we work in teams is because of this improbable equation. 1 + 1 = 3. Because when we put a group of people together, they can come up with ideas that are greater than one person could have had by themselves. But this doesn't happen by itself. And most teams will never tap into this. So the first question to ask is, are you creating opportunities for this to happen? Or is most of your decision making and brainstorming happening in isolation? The next question is about the quality of conversations. To really unlock the values of teams, we need open and honest communication and constructive conflict. Open and honest communication is about people feeling safe to express themselves in a group, while constructive conflict is about their willingness to engage in debate and argue the best course of action. Without these, we can't cash in on the diversity of thought and perspectives. My experience is that very few teams do this well. The starting point is to have this discussion with your team, start encouraging and rewarding these positive behaviors. At its most basic level, building effective teams is about having a common goal. As simple as this sounds, it's harder in practice. Let's be honest, it is way easier to not work in teams and just do your own thing. It's not more effective, but it's definitely easier. If we want people to invest in the effort of working together, we need to create goals that make them want to work together. Almost every team has a goal, a target to hit or a mission to accomplish, but true common goals go beyond that. They're goals that people care about, that they understand, that they're inspired by. They're goals that are so prominent that every single day people think about how the work they do will impact that goal. If you're a leader, you need to ask yourself, are my team goals doing this job? Do they motivate people? And in a world where workers are overloaded, do they provide direction that can help people make decisions about what to do and what not to do? As leaders, we sometimes think that what motivates us also motivates our team. That would be wrong. We need to step outside our comfort zone and set compelling goals that people truly care about, instead of the regular corporate narratives that fail to inspire people. There's a reason people aren't living up to your standards, and that's because they don't know what they are. In the last episode, I talked about common goals, but there's a second element that any high-performing team understands. It's called a common approach. In many ways, a common approach is even more important than common goals, because it's about our behaviors and it speaks to the culture of your team. There are two elements to a common approach that are equally important. The first is our strategic approach. This is the set of behaviors and standards around how we do the work. It helps people understand the highest impact activity that gets us closer to achieving our goals, including the quality and expectations about what we do and where we focus our energy. The second element is our team behaviors. We sometimes call this team brand. Our team brand answers the most important question any team can ponder, which is, who do we want to be? It clarifies the behaviors that underpin our team culture, including how we treat each other and how we treat our customers. Too often we assume our team standards are common sense, but it's important to realize that each team member has a history with other teams that had different standards. So their idea of what is acceptable and what is possible might be different to yours. It's up to you to change that. We've talked about different elements of effective teams, but they all converge on one simple truth. The greatest teams have unbelievably high levels of clarity around what is most important. Even if you stop to think about what clarity means for your team, that's only the first step. True clarity comes when you align everything you say with everything you do, and it's trickier than you think. Here are the main traps we fall into. We don't reinforce our message enough. The reality is, if your team isn't hearing about the priorities all the time, something else will become more important. We don't role model behaviors. There is nothing that undermines your message more than if you don't do what you say is important. We make it difficult. For example, if you say that capturing client information is important, but your systems are almost impossible to use, then your team thinks you're not serious. We reward something else. You might do something like this. You say teamwork is important, but then you reward individual results. Make sure your rewards match up with the behaviors that you want to see. We don't hold people accountable. If you don't hold people accountable, you teach that person and the rest of the team that you're not really serious. If you feel like your team just doesn't get it, then make sure you're doing everything in your power to help them get it.